Election Day!
America often seems stuck in an endless loop of elections, especially when old faces play familiar hits.
Democracy itself is on the ballot.
Your Commonwealth is being totally destroyed. Our country is being destroyed.
The former presidents have been taken out of cold storage to rally voters ahead of Tuesday's midterms, an election many believe could change the course of US democracy forever.
Most of the GOP are not even pretending that the rules apply to them anymore. They are just making stuff up.
So first up, what the hell are the midterms? Every 2 years, the balance of power in the US Congress is up for grabs. That's every seat in the House of Representatives and a third of the seats in the Senate. The midterms take place in between the presidential elections and can completely alter the president's ability to enact their agenda. And if you thought presidential elections were wild, they've got nothing on the midterms. One congressional hopeful released a porn tape. Senate nominee and former talk show host Dr. Oz was accused of animal abuse. An anti-abortion candidate, Herschel Walker, was accused by two women of pressuring them to get abortions.
Is she lying?
Yes, she's lying. Yeah, she's lying. Yes, she's lying.
But amid the circus, there's a very serious side, from voter intimidation to life-threatening violence. And with Republicans tipped to take control, Joe Biden is making sure people know that it's
One of the most important elections in our lifetime.
hang on, where have we heard that before?
This is the most important election of our lifetime.
The most important election of our lifetime.
Most important election of our lifetime.
Just how long have they been saying this?
Today will be held the most important election you have ever been called upon to attend.
But after 217 years of singing this tune, it may actually be true this time, with the January 6 riots considered by many to be not the last gasp of a falling government, but a dress rehearsal of future elections.
These midterms could be the last free and fair elections this country ever
We
holds.
could honestly lose our democracy.
So are the stakes really as high as that? Or is it all just a tale we've heard before?
Do you ever have deja vu, Mrs. Lancaster?
I don't think so, but I could check with the kitchen.
And here to take part in the most important interview in our lifetime is Steve Clemens. Steve, the Democrats are saying the future of democracy in the US is on the line here. How true do you think that is?
Look, I think for some voters, every election feels as if it might be, the end of times. But look, this is a serious election for a number of reasons. Number one, there are a lot of people who don't believe that President Biden won the election deniers on these sets of ballots. So there is a structural issue going on. But at the end of the day, when we wake up on Wednesday morning and see what the results are of this election, American democracy will plod forward. It's not going to be the end of days tomorrow.
Wow, you're a very optimistic man, Steve. Very, very optimistic. We should point out, just for context, that midterm elections almost always go against whichever party's in the White House. So we should expect the Republicans to do well. If they do well, would you read that as like situation normal, or is there something different about it?
Well, I think it's situation normal. But let's just say this was the election to end all elections. You would see the Republicans picking up 30, 40, 50 seats in the House of Representatives. And I think most analysts don't believe that will happen. I do believe the Republicans are likely to win the House of Representatives. They're already favored in a great number of seats. And the Democrats will be back a little bit. But I don't think it's going to be a huge change. I think we'll see a Republican majority of about 10 to 15 seats. And that's pretty typical. In fact, that's not as great of a swing as we've seen in other midterm elections.
Steve, Trump has said he'll announce whether or not he's running for president again after the midterms. Can you see him running again?
Absolutely, unfortunately. I mean, Donald Trump is already basically in the race, and to a certain degree, the election we see this week is a foreshock of the coming 2024 presidential election. We're already beginning to see Donald Trump, what we say, above the fold in the newspapers. His name is back. And we've talked to a lot of people in Trump land, and they're thinking around November 14th or that week, there is the expectation that President Trump is going to announce that he's going to try to make a comeback. And if he does, it'll be the second time in American history that someone has come back and challenged for the presidency after having lost.
Steve, we've learnt time and time again that it's foolish to try and predict a US election, and only an idiot would try. So with that, Steve, what's your prediction?
Love you for that. Love you so much for that. Look, I said already, I think the Republicans are going to probably win the House of Representatives, but I don't think they're going to win by big margins. I could be wrong on that. A lot of people see a Republican wave coming. I don't. We've had a lot of early elections. That's a good sign for Democrats, or early votes, I should say. And in the Senate, when you look at it, the Republicans are definitely, feeling their oats right now, but they've got some kind of flawed candidates in my view. And so I think at the end of the day, what would be really interesting is I think we may end up with a 50-50 Senate, or if it does go, I don't think the Democrats will gain seats in the Senate. But if the Republicans come in, I think they'll only get a 1-seat majority. It'll give them control, but not substantial.
All right, we'll watch and see, Steve. We'll chat to you then. Thank you.
Thank you.